Let's talk about how to pass the ITV video interview. What's up guys, it's Mike from Job Ready English here to help you get hired. Today we're going to be talking about the broadcasting channel ITV and how you can pass their first round interview. If you want more help in passing your ITV video interview, make sure you check out our Pass the Interview pack down in the description below. If you've not watched our Pass the Interview videos before, then we split them up into 3 parts. Firstly, we talk about their recruitment process, then the most common questions you can expect, and finally some other questions that we found interesting which we answer in a rapid fire round. All of our information comes from publicly available sources online and from candidate reports who have taken the interview or been through the recruitment process for ITV in the last 6 months. And I'll be reading all of this from the research note that I've got here on my iPad, which you can grab as one of the many things which we have in our Pass the Interview pack. Let's get started, shall we? So candidates reported for the ITV recruitment process. It took about a month. They applied online, then they interviewed at ITV London. They said it was pretty straightforward, 2 interviews, 1 video and 1 in person. Everyone was lovely, people were kept well informed. You then also had a group assessment that you would do on Teams where you had 2 group exercises and a maths test. So here are the 6 most common questions for ITV and what you can expect. These were questions that candidates reported being asked multiple times, so we felt like statistically you're more likely to get asked these questions. Question number 1, tell me about your skills and experience. So for me, this is kind of like a tell me about yourself question, but it really just centers around your experience. I think a good way of thinking about answering this question is number 1, you want to base your answer around the job description. So very often what happens is someone will say, tell me about yourself, and they'll just randomly start talking about how they went fishing at the weekend and they really love to golf, but they're not really thinking about their audience and what their audience is looking for. So when thinking about a question like this, first of all, you want to think, well, what skills are they looking for and what experience is it that they require somebody to have? So this could be around a particular type of media, around writing a certain type of content, it could be around a certain coding ability, but you kind of want to lead off with that first. And then after you say, well, actually, I'm really good at coding in Python because I've used that all throughout university and I've got a couple of hobby projects that I did on my GitHub. One of those was XYZ. So always you want to think to yourself, what is it that my audience is looking for? So for example, also with the experience, what is it that they're looking for? And that experience doesn't have to be related to the job, particularly if it's a graduate role. These could be transferable skills. You could say, well, I started my own business at university and I'm really good with social media and I built up these accounts. One thing you do want to make sure you do with your skills and experience is make sure you know your numbers. So paint me a picture, give me some numbers. For example, I was talking to somebody the other day and they were talking about growing an Instagram channel. I was like, oh cool, by how much? And they're like, oh, I literally grew them by like 5,000 followers in a month. I was like, that's mental. You need to say that. So notice the big difference between I grew a company's Instagram channel to I grew a company's Instagram channel by 5,000 people in 30 days, for example. Question number 2, why do you want to work for ITV? So you want to pick out 5 fast facts about the company. So that could be their revenue, their channels, their news, the projects they're involved in, the technologies that they're doing. Whatever it is, make sure that these are unique facts. And I'm going to give you an example from our research note. So ITV's estimated revenue was $4.61 billion in the last financial year. That's something you can't really say about anybody else. So it should be specific. And what I'd say for one of these facts is try and relate it in a way that means something to you. So it could be a particular show that you've really enjoyed on ITV, or growing up with that channel, or obviously that would only be British specific, but something like that where you can inject a bit of your own opinion and your own personality into that. Question number 3, name a situation in which you had to show initiative. So showing initiative is basically just thinking for yourself. So there are people who won't really do anything unless they're told what to do, and there are people who kind of go, well, I remember I saw this thing the other day and maybe that's something I'm going to look into. I'm going to show the initiative and then I'm going to show that to my boss and hopefully he's really going to appreciate what I've done there. So showing initiative is essentially going, right, we've got an open-ended project or we've got a lack of management about what we need to do and how do we do that. Now with the star-based format, showing initiative is really identifying what needs to be done, identifying why it needs to be done, seeking out the help and resources to get that thing done, and then going through and seeing it until completion. Remember, using STAR, situation, task, action, result, the emphasis of your answer should be on the action. That is where 70% of your answer should be. Question 4, what would you consider your weakness and strength? So I'd pick out one strength, one weakness. The strength you can pick out from the key skills that are required for the role, and make sure that you give your strength plus experience, not just the strength by itself. I would avoid just listing out a series of strengths, even though it's very tempting to do that. What you may find end up happening is that you basically kind of going, well, I'm good at this and this and this and this and this. And then they'll go, well, according to what? What is it that you've done? Why do you say that? When you're talking about a weakness, try to offer a weakness that is genuine, something that you genuinely struggle with. And most importantly, you say, well, sometimes I'm disorganized and I have in the past missed deadlines. But as a result, I make sure that I organize my calendar for the week ahead. I set aside the right amount of time for what it is that needs to get done. And since then, I've never missed a deadline. So show a lesson, show that you've learned from that weakness. Question number 5, how do you work under pressure, and give an example of this? So generally, pressure is a lack of time or a lack of resources, or a change, a variance in something that has happened. So first of all, you want to define the situation, identify where the pressure comes from, and it should be real pressure, not somebody changed their mind. Maybe you're making a set for a show, and all of a sudden you've broken one of the props and you have to have everything ready for the night after. Then you have to go through the steps that you needed to take working under pressure. A lot of times that just means doing more work and marshalling extra resources to get together everything that you need to make sure that that happens. Did you have to ask for help? Did you have to go above and beyond? Did you have to spend some extra money to get in those extra resources? So the set broke and we made sure that we found a 24-hour hardware store so we could get the wood in to get a new prop made up. Or we called one of the directors to ask them for a solution and they suggested X, Y, Z. Question number 6, what skills could you bring to the company? So again, you want to think, what is it that my audience is looking for? The skills have already been laid out in a job description, and if it's a good one, if the one for ITV isn't helpful, then just search the job description, the name of the job, and then just job description and see what somebody else has said. But when you're talking about what skills could you bring to the company, you really want to be talking out the skills that they're looking for, 4, 5, 6 skills, and say, well, I know for this job, I really need to be highly numerical, I need to have excellent written and verbal skills, and I need X, Y, Z. I think I can clearly demonstrate that because of these experiences. And this provides a really compelling answer because it's not just your opinion, you're combining that with your experience and what you've already done. So here's a couple of other questions just in a very quick fire round. Talk about a time you encountered a problem and how you solved it efficiently. So accurately, what is the problem? What are the elements that are required to solve it, and what was your solution? How did you get there? Give examples of working with senior stakeholders. This could be as simple as somebody like your professor or your parents or a manager. It could be a C-level executive. And I think a lot of times this is about expectation management, and it's about clear communication and really being prepared for a meeting when you meet with somebody who's more senior than you. Question number 3, tell me about a story that resonated with you. I think this would be your greatest achievement or your greatest lesson is a really good prompt for this story. Question number 4, tell us about a company that uses data in a really effective way. Well, the first company that comes to mind for me is Amazon. That's always something that you can look into and research for yourself. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Whatever you are, wherever you are, I wish you the best of luck in your interview for ITV. Please drop us a comment down below. Let us know how we did, how we can improve, what other videos you'd like us to make. And whatever happens, you're still amazing. See you later.